So here's the document. Cohen Healthcare Law Group is the one I used. Innate healthcare stem cell research. So let's just read it. Let's see what the lawyers are saying. Stem cells are a fairly new field of the phenomenon in the medical field. Multiple studies and clinical trials have shown this unique biologic to have great benefits in several different aspects of healing. But many are still confused about the legality of using stem cells. There are some types of stem cells that are not legal to use. So this is another area of confusion. This is the embryonic stem cell research that when President Bush was in office back in 2008, he didn't make laws prohibiting the use of embryonic research, which I fully support. So not the same thing, okay? If somebody's trying to make a blanket statement of stem cells are illegal in the U.S., might be what they're referring to, okay? There are some ways to use them that are outside legal parameters. However, Innate Healthcare Institute's protocols are compliant with all applicable laws and regulations. We have provided a legal summary below so you can understand and be comfortable with the Institute's standard of care. So, first and foremost, federal law. Save this, okay? Save this part in the YouTube if you can. You should first know that no federal law does or ever did ban stem cell research or use in the United States. This is April 15th, 2025. This was made last year sometime. So there, as it stands still now. Many people ask if these therapies we provide are approved by the FDA or some other agency. First, it's important to understand that the FDA has absolutely no jurisdiction over physicians and clinics. This includes how to practice, treat, or use drugs, devices, or biologics. This activity is governed by state law and is largely left to the independent medical judgment of the practitioner. The FDA actually admits openly that it does not regulate a physician's or nurse's practice and does not tell providers what to do when running their business or what they can and cannot tell their patients. Okay? Rewind that and read that again if you are ever in doubt about umbilical cord-derived mesenchymal stem cells in the U.S. They even provide a nice little link here. Let me drag this over. Let's see if I can put this on screen. Here we go. Here it is. FDA's own website. FDA's role in regulating medical devices. The FDA does not have the authority to regulate a physician's or nurse's practice. FDA does not tell providers what to do when running their business or what they can or cannot tell their patients. The FDA does not have the authority to make recommendations for individual doctors, clinics, or home care agencies. So, what that means is in a private practice setting, when you talk to a physician, when you talk to a consultation you have an office appointment or something, and they say, well, what can I do for my knee pain, my arthritis, my osteoarthritis in my back, my neck, wherever. Maybe it's a congestive heart failure, COPD, some sort of chronic condition. What can I do for my child's autism? We've done this, and that. I've read about stem cells. When you have that talk, you now have a doctor-patient relationship. It's between you and your physician or physicians. We have a very team mentality approach, so a lot of times we'll coordinate on patients. So there it is, FDA website. Go look for it. Read it yourself if you want. Okay, let's go back to this document. So we left off on that. The FDA does have some authority over the stem cell industry, and it regulates it in three ways. First, it regulates stem cell production by laboratories or other manufacturers. These must comply with a rigorous set of safety protocols and manufacturing practices. So these are your biological companies that you're hearing about or reading about maybe. Or when you talk to a clinic and you might say, what kind of stem cells do we use? Well, we use Warren's jelly. We use umbilical cord derived stem cells. Okay, are they live stem cells or is this like a biological product? Where do you get them? Are you making them yourself from an actual umbilical cord, or are you buying them from a third party and they're getting shipped in? So if they're buying them from a third party, this is what those labs fall under. The FDA is regulating them, and they tell them the standards and everything and regulations they must comply with. Uh, these must comply with the rigorous set of safety protocols and manufacturing practices. So I still think there is a little bit of misleading going on with a lot of the biological products. Um, they tend to talk to the doctors. The sales reps will say that these are stem cells, and they really don't have many live stem cells in them, or a lot of times they'll give them a cell count because the patients want to know, well, what am I getting? How many stem cells? Maybe you watch some of my videos and say, oh, I know better. I know to ask what's the dose and what am I getting? And so I've noticed that what they've told me or they told other physicians is like, well, they said they have 20 million cells per vial. It's like, all right, great. What cells? What kind of cells? Is that a TNC, a total nucleated count? Like, are they just counting any kind of cells, whether they're fibroblast or white blood cells? So I have noticed that sometimes the sales reps will be a little bit misleading towards the doctor or the nurse practitioner, and they'll kind of convince them that they are giving a live stem cell treatment. So there's other videos, again, why you should subscribe. I've got some more videos coming out on other people that have tried to mislead the umbilical cord industry or umbilical cord stem cells, and have gotten called out on it. So we'll have some fun, enticing videos coming up. Second, it regulates claims that manufacturers and physicians make about the use of stem cells, including treatments, cures, efficacy, etc. For example, the federal government does not want medical practices advertising to the public that stem cells are a guaranteed cure for any particular condition. And you've heard me say before, if anybody's offering you some sort of guaranteed cure, just thank them for their time and hang up the phone, or don't email them back. This is still medicine. We're still practicing medicine. It's still hard. It can be hard. It can be super easy and it can be super hard. Myself or somebody else can inject a knee, grade 3 osteoarthritis. Within a week, that person is happy as can be, no pain, out running, jogging, doing stuff they haven't done in years. I can do another person, and after a month, no change, no change whatsoever. It's still practicing medicine, so nobody should be guaranteeing anything. For anything. We have probabilities. We have percentages where, after you've done enough, you say, oh, well, yeah, I've seen enough of that condition. And let's say probably 80% chance over the next 1 to 3 months, you're going to see your pain drop down to like maybe a 2 or better. Once you do enough of them, you can definitely, it's not uncommon to say that. The third way the FDA regulates the use of stem cells is by classifying them as drugs. So this kind of ties back into number 1 up there. If stem cells are taken from a human subject and manipulated or altered in a particular way, the FDA considers this new stem cell creation to be a drug. I do not agree with this. I hate that they do this. I really hope with this new administration, a lot of this changes. But probably something else to dive into another time. When this happens, the FDA has authority to regulate these substances as well as the medical practices using them in procedures. However, we do not alter stem cells in this way. We are not creating a new drug. is simply taking stem cells from a donated umbilical cord, which would otherwise be considered a waste product and thrown away. We're preparing them in a way that's absolutely compliant and pertinent with pertinent laws and regulations, and using them according to its experience, expertise, and independent medical judgment. Federal case law has positively established that the FDA has no jurisdiction when stem cells are not being manipulated or altered. So this is referring to a case, United States versus U.S. Stem Cell Clinic back in 2021, where a doctor, I'm sorry if I'm getting this a little bit wrong, it's been a while since I talked about the case, was extracting adipose stem cells, there's expanding them, having the patients come back in about a month or so, and then using them for, pretty sure they were only aesthetic procedures, kind of like plastic surgery and procedures. And FDA came in and said, you can't do that. You're creating a drug. We need to have jurisdiction over what you're doing. Court, the FDA lost in court. The court's judge said, you cannot tell this doctor what he can do and can't do with his patients. He's not breaking any laws by expanding these patients' cells and putting them back in them. So hopefully it's a very accurate representation of the case. But you can look it up yourself. The Institute also does not make any public claims or advertise that its stem cell treatments will cure a particular condition. It looks at treatments on a case-by-case basis and determines if a stem cell protocol may be effective for a particular patient. So we've established on a federal level, what you'd probably see me write or discuss as well is a state level. Because a lot of people ask, well, then why isn't everyone doing it? I don't know why everyone's not doing it. I don't have an answer. I don't speak for everybody else or why, but state law is changing. We see this now that Utah is making a law. I think Florida has one into legislation as well. So we've got some good things changing. Hopefully one day, all this argument pettiness about legalities won't exist, because there's a lot of what I call little doubly do rights. There's a lot of little doubly do rights out there, and then they get all huffy and puffy and like, I'm not going to do anything, and then they try to anything that's not FDA approved. These are illegal in the United States, and you shouldn't do them either. And they blast this over social media, and they try to come across as some sort of expert. It's like, if you want to be a Dwight Schrute, go be a volunteer, a cop, or firefighter or something. Go do that. But don't act like you know the federal and state law when you don't even practice law or medicine. It's always ones that don't ever. They're hardly ever in the medical field. Which reminds me, is another reason for you to subscribe. That buyer beware series I'm going to do. I'm going to call them out. Got to do it. I think it's time. So Arizona permits naturopathic physicians to diagnose and treat disease with a wide range of procedures in natural medicines. This includes administering stem cells for therapeutic use. Any healthcare institute uses stem cells manufactured in its own lab, as well as any nationally recognized academic facility. This was a little bit of confusion on the lawyer's part. Yeah, so we have two facilities where we grow and culture stem cells. We're having that moved onto our Scottsdale site. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of money, but we are almost there pretty much. So pretty soon this will just be manufactured in this Cohen lab on site at our clinic. Beyond this, almost no state regulation of stem cells exists. The only way the state regulates stem cell use is through the Board of Medicine to ensure they are used according to the proper standard of care, as with any other procedure. So this last part is just a good bit about effectiveness. We're not guaranteeing anything. We've got, I think we're all set 105-star Google reviews. We've got a good reputation. We're not doing anything shady or anything misleading. Our patient care is the paramount, is at the top of our core values as a company and our philosophy.